ladies and gents, and welcome to Il2 Stormovik, the Battle of Stalingrad, and welcome aboard the LaGG-3. Today we're going to do a small intercept mission. 3 enemy Stukas are approaching the front lines of Stalingrad at the moment, getting ready to begin ground attack against supply forces and supply chains leading to the front line. My flight of 4 LaGG-3s are tasked with eliminating these Stukas, with a secondary objective of eliminating any escorts that they may have. Now currently I'm just doing a couple of circles of the airfield, give time for my wingmates to get off the ground and begin to form up. And as you can see in the background, today's fight is also going to be a twilight fight, leading on to night time with moderate to heavy cloud cover. So for those of you who are unfamiliar with this game, Il2 Stormovik, the Battle of Stalingrad, is the 11th game to carry the Il2 moniker, and is considered to be one of the 3rd generation of Il2 flight simulators. And unlike War Thunder, this is a true flight simulator. Il2 features extremely advanced flight and damage models. The aircraft themselves are extremely well modelled with full atmospheric effects, so there is wind shear, you do have to deal with crosswinds, you do have to deal with headwinds in combat. And the game only features one flight mode, and that is full simulation. Now you do have a couple of difficulty level options. You have normal and expert. That's it. Normal allows you to fly the plane with an overlay. So you have a HUD overlay that displays your airspeed, it displays your altitude, current wind speeds, as well as everything that's going through in regards to temperature, current throttle position, everything that you would need to have available to fly the plane without actually having to look at the instrumentation that you have available in the aircraft. Normal mode also places a targeting reticle over enemy aircraft, usually indicated with blue or red to indicate whether the aircraft is friendly or hostile once you get within a certain range to identify it. Before that it's grey. It carries a range to target and usually the name of the aircraft once you have identified the aircraft. That is all you get in normal mode. There are no lead target indicators, there is no instructor or anything along those lines to assist you in flying the aircraft. The difference between flying in normal and expert is 0. They're exactly the same flight modes. Just in normal mode you get the overlay that helps you locate enemy targets, it helps you identify ground vehicles, and it gives you a range and displays all the information that you need to fly without having to check your instrumentation. Then there's expert mode. Now expert mode removes everything. You have the instrumentation that's available in your aircraft, and that's it. The flight models of the aircraft stay exactly the same. And as a result, Il2 Stormovik, the Battle of Stalingrad is a simulation that requires usage of a joystick in order to be able to fly effectively. Now at the start of a mission there are 2 additional options you can select that will slightly change difficulty. One is short and the other is full. When you enter a flight in the Battle of Stalingrad, your flight path is defined into 4 waypoints. Now the first waypoint is your takeoff and return to point. It's situated right on your runway that you leave from. Your secondary waypoint is usually slightly to the left or right of your target zone, depending on the layout of the map and the design for the mission. Your third waypoint is the engagement point for the enemy aircraft. The 4th point is the return home point, which is just offside, usually not far from the runway itself, and then you would complete back to waypoint 1 in order to complete the sequence. In short battle mode, you receive an air spawn at waypoint 2. This allows you to already be in the air at your optimal altitude to engage targets, and you only need to proceed to waypoint 3, engage the aircraft in the target zone. Once you have completed or failed that mission, depending on the outcome, you can then exit to waypoint 4, and at that point, still in the air, leave the mission and receive your experience and complete the mission objectives. Now this removes the need for you to take off or land, and also significantly cuts down the flight time that you will spend within a mission in Battle of Stalingrad. The second mode is full. This requires you take off from the runway and requires you return to the runway in order to complete the mission. This can be a significant difficulty change because of the map. There is only one map, and it is a full-size 1-to-1 scale recreation of the combat zone and front lines of the Battle of Stalingrad during the second half of the Battle of Stalingrad as the Soviet Union began to push German forces away from the city. What this means is in Battle of Stalingrad, your flight times are measured in hundreds of kilometers, depending on how far you're going to strike a target. This particular mission is incredibly short for a full mission, as I only needed to fly around about 51 kilometers to the initial waypoint and then an additional 38 kilometers to get to the combat zone. As you can imagine, with a full-size map, extremely long combat distances, and joystick control almost a requirement to operate this game, Il2 Stormovik, the Battle of Stalingrad is not for everybody. Now, we've achieved the combat zone. I'm beginning to dive through the clouds. The flight of 3 Stukas should be just ahead of me at the moment. Now I'm looking hard and forward for a cloud break because I was diving blind at that point, and there they are, just off my right wing. 3 Stukas in formation. They haven't seen me coming through the cloud at this point in time, just banking in on them. They're about to go evasive as they spot me. They begin a right-hand bank. Shots through and miss. Throttle up and begin a rollover. Just keeping a look at the top of my cockpit, trying to keep an eye on where they are. I'm hoping I'll loop straight around and drop back in, providing that they don't break too far to the left or right. They seem to be continuing onto target. This is actually a really good thing. I've managed to get them on their attack runs, so they're going to be reluctant to actually break away. They want to hit the ground targets and complete their own mission before they try and run. Fall back in on the rear of the formation. Now I'm going to have a shot to swing over and hit the targets on the left. Just bank gently. Shots in, and I look like I popped his oil system. Now that's actually a fatal blow. In Battle of Stalingrad, aircraft damage is modelled incredibly accurately. If I've blown his oil system, his engine is likely only about 60 seconds out of dying, so I don't actually need to hit him again. At least not right away. If it turns out he's still flying beyond 60 seconds, I will have to strike him down, because obviously the damage was severe but not fatal. But it's highly likely he's been eliminated for the fight. Invert over and try and drop in on the second Stuka. This is the lead Stuka of the formation. Now I actually have to be incredibly careful here because I'm on the tail of the lead Stuka. There is still 2 Stukas behind me, and both of them are fully capable of putting shots into my rear. Nice solid hit on the lead Stuka, but it doesn't look like there's any damage. More hits across the wingtip. But his tail gunner fires a shot in return and has actually done some damage. Looks like he's hit my left fuel tank. I'm blowing fuel out of my wing and I have a slight coolant leak. Now, from inside of the cockpit, no warning lights had come on at this point, so I'm pretty much safe to continue the engagement at this time. And I'm pulling the lag into the vertical to break away from the engagement for a second, as I've just come to a realization. My wingmates haven't been aggressively attacking the Stukas despite being mission target, and I've just picked up a silhouette in front of me. It's a 109. The rest of my flight is currently engaged with escorts. 4th Stukas. Now I need to break off here, because if I let this 109 go, he will come around and he will hit me. He's over here because I'm hitting the Stukas. I got a lucky break and fell in on his tail. Now in normal combat, the 109s will stay high and boom zoom you on the way through. He's dropped speed to try and get a pass on me, and as I broke away from the Stukas, I likely threw off his attack run. This was pure luck that I fell in on his 6. Now I just fired a shot and I got a hit. I didn't immediately get a smoke trail, but obviously I did do damage to the engine and something has blown after the fact. One of the other lags in my flight just passed over and took a couple of shots, no impacts that I can see. Continuing to pursue, the 109 does seem to be slowing down. I shouldn't be catching him at this point, and there we go. His smoke trail's back on again. He has definitely taken some engine damage. I'm going to try and drop below him a little bit here and see if I can pull up from underneath and get a nice, good, clean angle on him to finish him off. Just pulling in on the 6. Second lag passes over the area. He's banking off to the right, and at this point I'm breaking away because it looks like he's going down. If you look very closely, you can see a white trail in there. That's his coolant system is blown as well. So I've taken out his oil system, his coolant system has failed afterwards, and it looks like his engine failed, and there we go, down he goes. 109, F4 eliminated. Now I make the assumption at this point that whatever other escorts were in the area have been taken out by the rest of my flight. 109s generally don't fly alone, but I can see a massive furball forming up ahead, and it looks like the rest of my LaGG-3s are engaging the remaining Stukas. Now there is only 2 Stukas left, so one has gone down. I'm assuming it's the one that I critically damaged before. That's of course great news for me, because that means I've had 2 kills so far this flight, moving in to see if I can pick up a 3rd, maybe a 4th. Now this is one of the great parts for the field of the Battle of Stalingrad. If you look off to the right hand side, you'll see tracer fire happening on the ground. We're flying directly over the front lines between Germany and the Soviet Union during the Battle of Stalingrad. Ground forces are engaging in combat. Tanks, artillery pieces are moving around fighting one another. There are trains travelling through the area. There are supply trucks moving through that will get hit by ground attackers. You will encounter aircraft that are actually not part of your mission profile, that are completing their own missions within the area. At first, they're fairly rare. As you progress through the campaign of Battle of Stalingrad, you will encounter more and more of these aircraft. You'll run into more encounters, and you will regularly find you'll be on your way to fly a mission and get attacked by a bunch of aircraft that are actually not part of your mission at all. So I finally caught up with the Stukas. One of them is hiding in the low altitude storm clouds that are over the battlefield at the moment. Now, I've had to back off my engine here slightly. I've noticed the temperatures are creeping up, the coolant system is starting to have an issue. The engine temps aren't critical, but I don't want to run at my normal combat levels and risk destroying the engine. So I've backed the throttles off to about 65 to 70%. This does mean I'm losing a lot of energy in high angle of attack maneuvers, however. Incidentally, it's worth noting that because the engines are modelled correctly in Il2 Battle of Stalingrad, 100% power is not combat power, it's takeoff power. Combat operates at between 80 to 90 on the LaGG-3, cruising speed is anywhere from 60 to 80. Now I've completed my loop around, got back to cloud level, and I'm closing back in on one of the Stukas. He is blowing smoke, he's been damaged by one of my wingmates. Unfortunately, not a good enough angle. Drop the flaps here slightly just to stabilise the aircraft during the turn. I'm losing a lot more speed in these turns than I would like. But I don't need to manoeuvre incredibly hard against the Stukas themselves. Second lag is engaging, and third lag is pulling into the area. Now with all three of us engaging this one target, it's highly likely that the other Stuka has been taken out, and this is the last target in the flight that we have to deal with. Almost get an angle here, try and bring it back, and the Stuka just pulls up, and I'm just not going to lift the nose fast enough, so make a pass by. But it looks like its damage is going out too. It's falling from the sky, there's no way known he's pulling out of that. And down he goes. That's the Stuka flight eliminated. So mission objectives complete, time to return to base. And not a bad mission for me overall. I took out one of the Stukas, I took out one 109 F4. There were two 109s in the escort formation. A wingman took out one of those, however that second 109 did eliminate one of my wingmen. So only three of us return home as we form up together, but we also got all three Stukas between us. So ladies and gents, this is Il2, the Battle of Stalingrad. I hope you've enjoyed the more cinematic approach that I went on for this video. Battle of Stalingrad is an incredibly beautiful game, and I wanted to show it off a little bit in this video, or this first of my Il2 battle videos. Fly smart, fly safe, and I'll catch you in the skies.